Maryland's nightmare continues as Bruno Fernando leaves loss to Indiana. Bloomington, Indiana. It was a sight they had all seen before, on multiple occasions this season, but Maryland's entire bench still froze as Bruno Fernando clutched his right ankle in pain on the assembly hall floor. They looked down in disbelief. Again? The freshman big man had already missed games this season with injuries to both ankles, and he finally looked like himself again Monday night against Indiana after an illness had weakened his body for a week. It was short-lived. Fernando eventually hobbled back to the locker room after appearing to reinjure his right ankle, and although Maryland trailed by just 3 at that moment, it seemed as if a terrible omen had set in for a snake-bitten roster. Yet, somehow, Maryland still had a chance to tie the game in the final seconds of a 71-68 loss, but Anthony Cowan Jr.'s three-point attempt clanked off the back of the iron with 6 seconds left, which left Maryland's bench once again looking demoralized and threw the Terrapins' postseason résumé into further disarray. Cowan finished with 18 points and Kevin Huerter added 16 points and 11 rebounds for the Terrapins, 15-7, 4-5 Big Ten, who committed 18 turnovers overall and shot just 31% from the field in the second half. Maryland's players had walked into Assembly Hall aware that this was the last Big Ten building their program had not won in since joining the league in 2014, although that was of little consequence. None of the starters had any memories of the previous 2 disastrous trips here. Of Monday's starting 5, which featured a slight wrinkle with the first career start for redshirt freshman Joshua Domaik, only senior center Michal Sikovsky had played in this historic venue. And even his experience was only 5 meaningless minutes in a blowout loss to the Hoosiers during his freshman season 3 years ago. The more pressing matter was that Maryland needed to find a way to win a Big Ten game on the road. It had eked out one such victory in overtime at Illinois in early December but had since been blown out at Michigan State and Ohio State and lost after a late-game defensive breakdown at Michigan. Not only did Monday present a chance to beat a Hoosiers team that has elevated its play at home this season, Indiana entered the night 3-0 on its home floor in league play, but it would also help burnish the Terrapins' postseason résumé and give them momentum ahead of Sunday's home matchup against Michigan State. Indiana was bolstered by Juwan Morgan, 25 points, 5 rebounds, the talented junior power forward whose status was uncertain after he suffered a left ankle injury in a loss to Michigan State last week. Morgan gave Maryland problems from the onset, and Indiana used a 6-0 run at the end of the first half to take a 42-39 lead into the locker room. Morgan was especially alert after Fernando went down with his ankle injury on a post move with 15:29 remaining in the second half. Yet even after Maryland's rotation was again cut down to 8 scholarship players, the Terrapins stayed in position to win the rest of the way. As Indiana keyed on Cowan and Huerter, Maryland's offense received a jolt from its bench, including from Jared Nickens, 12 points, who hit a crucial three-pointer with 6:02 remaining to tie the game at 57. That was followed by a three-point play from freshman Darryl Morsell, who capped a 9-0 run to give Maryland a 5-point lead with 4:53 left. But Maryland never had an answer for Morgan, who quickly answered Morsell's finish with one of his own to help spur a 7-0 run as Indiana regained the lead. Morgan scored 8 points in the final 4:39 alone. After a three-pointer by Nickens cut Maryland's deficit to 67-66 with 1:06 remaining, Indiana guard Josh Newkirk missed 2 free throws after being fouled, but Morsell could not box Morgan out. Morgan grabbed the rebound and scored to push the lead back to 3 with 36 seconds left. Still, Maryland had a chance in the final seconds. After Newkirk hit 2 free throws to put Indiana up 71-68 with 15 seconds left, Cowan missed a potential game-tying three-pointer from the left perimeter. Huerter had a chance from half-court after 2 more Indiana missed free throws with 3 seconds left, but his attempt fell